Orlando Magic fans, welcome in. You are live with the six-man show, Postgame Live, presented by Rock'em. We are here. It was not always pretty, but the first half was just dominant enough, 68-38 in that first half against the New Orleans Pelicans. We come out on top, 113-93, and you are here live with the six-man show so that we can celebrate an Orlando Magic victory. We didn't sweat it out. It didn't come right down to the end. We had a dominant night from Paolo, a dominant night from Franz, a good night from Corey Joseph. Shout out to him. We're going to be talking about the game tonight. Let's just celebrate a win. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Again, as I mentioned, we are the six-man show, Postgame Live. We are presented by Rock'em Socks. Rock'em Socks, they are a Orlando-based apparel company. They do socks, they do underwear, and they do all sorts of stuff. They have these amazing socks of the Orlando Magic, if I can get them in frame here. These stuffed socks, my personal favorite. I love these personally. I have given Detroit Lions stuff to my brother-in-law this past year for Christmas. I mean, if you go online here, you can see that Rock'em does not just have one or two different types of material, but they got Play the Song socks, which little hint about what we have coming up here in a couple seconds. We got Everybody in socks. We got underwear here. These are the famous stuff boxers that Kevin has hanging behind him when he is on the pod and on the PGLs. A lot of different things going on here for all sorts of fans, all sorts of people who enjoy all sorts of things. So go ahead, check them on out. And if you use code MAGIC20, then you can get 20% off your order, and that also lets them know that we sent you guys there. It doesn't just help you to get a good bang for your buck, it also helps us and the affiliation that we have with Rock'em, so we want to give a huge shout-out to Rock'em and thank them for being a sponsor of the Postgame Live. We're going to go ahead and go over. We got a couple super chats already. Mo, appreciate the love and the support, and we are going to go ahead and go over to Luis Rosario. Luis Rosario with 3 magic words here. He says, finally a decent game for a win. And Luis Rosario, it is my honor for me to do what you have requested in this super chat. And I'm going to have a friend of mine come over here real quick. And we actually have a guest appearance on the podcast tonight. Everyone say hi. This is Rocket. Rocket is my pet chinchilla. He is adorable. Leave a like for Rocket, by the way. Leave a comment for Rocket. We love this little guy. But Rocket is going to help us celebrate as we play the song tonight, guys. Come on, let's celebrate tonight. Let's go. Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. Oh, yeah. No, he's the star of the show tonight. We love this little guy. That's it. He would hate me by the end of the night if I held on to him the whole time. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it back off to my wife over here. But so nice to finally be able to get a win tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to settle in. We're going to talk about Magic Ball. A lot of things to talk about. A lot of things to love about tonight's game. So starting out, Kevin in the chat, thank you so much. Play the song. Great bounce back win. He follows that up by saying, was a little scared when we almost gave up a 30-point lead, but the guys were able to hang on. Absolutely. As you're going to see when we go through the box score, we had a 36-point lead at one point. Felt like we were about to pull away. And then at one point in the fourth, I think the Pelicans actually cut it down to about 17. And it got a little scary there for a few minutes, but we ended up pulling it out. Absolutely. So I'm Jovi with a great little 2-part comment here. He says, OMG, P5 has been on a heater, especially from 3. P5's been great. We got to talk about him tonight. But then I'm Jovi following that up immediately with saying, Weltman, you must still make trades. Absolutely. Tonight you can argue, it's like you should have won this game by probably 35 to 40 points. You should have been able to rest Paolo and Franz for the entirety of the fourth quarter. Neither of those things were able to happen. And so now, because you don't have the roster construction to really put the bench unit in and pull away and keep the lead at 35 to 40 in the fourth quarter, Paolo and Franz had to play in the fourth quarter. That's going to impact the second half of the back-to-back tomorrow. So this is a good win. It's a great relief to finally have a 20-point win that we can celebrate and that we could talk about. But still a lot of things that I would have liked to see. And remember, this is a Pelicans team that already almost has 50 losses on the season. This is the type of game you're supposed to have against the New Orleans Pelicans. You're supposed to win this game by 20. You're supposed to win this game by 25. So, it's okay. We still have a lot of positives to talk about, especially Paolo's game. Wanted to talk about him in a little bit later. But we have a couple of other super chats we want to get to real quick. Mo here mentioning at the game with the wife tonight, drove from Pensacola, probably one of the less than 20 Magic fans here. Pels fans are so angry. Let's go Magic. You would think that they would expect for tonight to go the way that it did. They haven't exactly had a lot to cheer for this year, so I don't know if they expected to go into that game with a win. I don't know what they were looking for tonight, but I mean, hey, way to be there, way to show out, way to support the Magic on the road. We need all those. We have enough road supporters coming in and supporting in Orlando. We need all the supporters from Orlando going and supporting away from home as possible. So Mo, shout out to you for making that drive. Huge for you guys. Magic Wired says, if we can play like this every night and continue to not play down to our competition, we could finish 42-40. We do have a relatively favorable schedule over these last couple of weeks. With how we've been playing, 42-40, I think, is asking a lot. I wouldn't expect a 42-40 finish from this team, especially with Jalen still down with the injury, Mo still down with the injury. Now Cole Anthony's dealing with something, and Corey Joseph did a great job of stepping in his absence tonight, which was awesome. But 42-40, man, like if we could finish right around 500 or so, that would be great. But if not, that's okay. We'll figure it out. We're going to look at the standings and see what a realistic expectation of the final couple weeks of the season is going to look like. Let's go ahead and keep getting back to some of these comments. I'm Jovi with a couple of other comments about what he saw during the game. Janine Richmond says, great game from P5 and Boogie. Play the song. Absolutely. We're going to look at the box score, but in a lot of ways, this game was really a Franz and Paolo and everyone else. The difference is that in some other games this year, you've had Franz and Paolo going off and everyone else doing nothing, period, the entire night. Like they gave you nothing. They gave you zero. And tonight, everyone else gave just enough where Paolo and Franz had a great game, but everyone else was just able to provide exactly what they needed to at exactly the right moments to come through and finish up with the win. We got a comment from Sauce McSaucy who says, play the song, dominant first half. Again, 68-38 first half, capped off by that ridiculous Corey Joseph putback on the missed Paolo three. Just tremendous first half. You would have liked to see the team come out a little bit stronger in the second half and really put the Pelicans to bed, but they did not. Jacob G says, finally some Magic basketball. Agreed, especially that first half. When we were playing our game, we weren't just chucking up in the second quarter, back half of the first quarter, early part of the second quarter. We were kind of chucking threes a little bit, but for the majority of the time, that first quarter and the rest of the second quarter, when we got up to the 30-point lead, we were like, hey, this Pelicans team doesn't really have great shot blocking, right? So it's like, we have a bunch of good people who can finish around the basket. Let's help them finish around the basket. Let's get Franz to the basket. Let's get Paolo to the basket. And that's absolutely what we did. And it really, really helps to get to the rim when Paolo is, shooting the way that he is right now from three. Because honestly, when people have to respect his shot and then he can drive past them and really use his physicality to get to the basket, I think that that's huge. And I think that really adds an extra dimension to his game in terms of what the defense allows him to do. Chris Dees says, take the win, play the song. Absolutely. We got a lot of play the song comments from tonight. Duval here mentions that tomorrow night is going to be tough. Tomorrow night is going to be tough. Especially, again, I've mentioned this already a couple times tonight, you would have liked for Paolo and Franz to not have to play that fourth quarter. You would have liked for the game to have already been over by that point, but getting outscored 27-20 in the third really didn't help you there. Tomorrow night was already going to be difficult. But, I still think that we have a shot. If Paolo and Franz come out and they carry the momentum from tonight over and tomorrow, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll make it a close game, and I think it'll be a fun one. Let's see. Philip says here, little do we know, a win like this could be leading to something special, and we don't even know it. Well done, Orlando. We just need Paolo and Franz to be confident. If Paolo and Franz are playing confidently and they're playing the brand of basketball that we all on this postgame live know that they're capable of playing, then I think that we can do some big things. And if Paolo and Franz are playing confidently, then if they are playing not just confidently, but with a confident body language, I think that helps other people play the type of game that they need to play as well, going into the play-in/playoffs here in a couple of weeks. KDuck159 says, did we play well because it's New Orleans or because we just happened to have a rare game where the offense is clicking? Both. I don't think you can overestimate the amount that New Orleans is a really, really, really bad team. New Orleans is a bottom 4, bottom 5 team in the NBA this year. They have only won 18 games so far this season. You can't go into that and be like, oh man, like the Magic with a dominant win over Boston tonight on a Thursday. No, it's the Pelicans. We have to keep that in context. But again, this team goes as Paolo and Franz go. And if Paolo and Franz are able to play confidently like they did tonight, I think that this team can accomplish really, really good things. And there's very, very few teams that I think that if we come out with our best effort, that we can't beat. But the problem is we have not been playing magic ball. We have not been hanging our hat on the defensive side of the ball. We've been kind of relying on, hey, maybe we can get into a good shooting start. And then if we don't, we're basically done for the entire night, right? And it's like this team just needs to realize that we're 30th in a lot of offensive categories for a reason. And we need to not hang our hat on the offensive side of the ball, but hang our hat on the defensive side of the ball and then hope that defensive momentum can transition into some offensive opportunities. So Amigo says, that jersey is sweet. Thank you very much. This is the one that I heard a lot of people give the team crap for. This is the white ORL jersey. It's the Jonathan Isaac jersey. It's one of the first official team jerseys that I bought. I'm a big fan of it. I obviously liked enough to buy it. I know a lot of people are not a big fan of this one, but to each their own. That's what's cool about teams reeling out jerseys every year is because sometimes they're going to hit, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they hit for some people, sometimes they don't for other people. And that's perfectly fine. Luis Rosario says, we already mentioned this, but Kojo with the circus shot to end the half, that was nice. That was a sick shot. I was watching the game with my wife on the couch, and we both kind of looked up and we were like, how did he make that? Like, what the heck? Corey Joseph coming in clutch with a shot like that. Let's see, a couple of other play the song comments, a couple of other comments saying hi to Rocket. Hi, Rocket. Rocket equals magic. Chris D says, the dancing Rocket. KDuck159 says, that's Stitch. If you haven't checked out the Lilo and Stitch trailer dropped yesterday, it looks fire. I'm actually really excited about it. Let's see. A couple of other comments. A lot of comments welcoming Rocket to the chat. Maybe we'll make that when I'm on the PGL and we take a win. Maybe we'll try to pull Rocket out every time we get a win because he seems to be a fan favorite. So, Jacob says that you had a chinchilla for 13 years and her name was Chinchi. That's awesome. It's super rare to meet someone else who also has a chinchilla, so that's awesome. Enough about my pet. Getting back to the game, right? When P5 rebounds, we look good. He was aggressive tonight, and we need him playing like we know he can play. Like we know what he is capable of. We know what he can accomplish. We know what he can do. But sometimes I don't feel like he knows and he understands what he's capable of and that he knows what he can do. And so if he just has the same level of confidence that he had tonight, like since the All-Star break, I don't have the exact number in my head. I should have calculated it before I came on tonight. But like the number that if someone can put that in the chat, if there's a tweet out there of like what he's averaging since the All-Star break, if you could throw that in the chat and we can get back to that in a few minutes, that would be awesome. But he is on one since the All-Star break. Like he's gotten a couple of it seems like more often than not, he's dropping 30 to 35 to 40 points. And this is the type of Paolo that we need, is a confident, aggressive Paolo who's not just, he's getting good looks. That pass to Tristan da Silva that unfortunately Tristan couldn't make, that pass was sick. And some of the shots he was making, that corner three that he hit at the end of the shot clock, some of his rebounds where he was skying in, getting great position on some of these bigger guys on New Orleans. Like he played a great game tonight. I would go as far to say that this was one of Paolo's best games of the season. I think you can't, when you set the tone with like an Indiana type game with the 50-piece earlier on in the year, I think it's tough to say that it was his best game of the year because that game exists. But this was one of Paolo's best games of the season for sure. He looked amazing. He looked great. He looked confident. And if that's the Paolo we can get for the last 15 games of the year, then I'm going to take that all day. Luis says, I'll be excited if we went 41-41 the way this season has gone. Yeah, absolutely. It's been rough. We had higher hopes for the way the season was going to go once we got everyone back, and then Jalen went out for the rest of the year. A lot of challenges. If we can finish 41-41 and at least make a little bit of noise in the play-in in the first round of the playoffs, I'll be happy. I know it'll be disappointing, all things considered, because of what we expected from this team coming into this year. But again, with everything that's happened, I don't think you can look at 41-41, making it out of the play-in, and then making some noise in the first round of the playoffs as disappointing with the way this team has been completely disjointed with injuries and just everything has gone wrong. Ryan mentions tomorrow night we're going to be tired out in the second half against the Wolves. Completely agree. Great comment from Travel Adventures with Eric B. checking me with something I said earlier is we've lost 3 times to Toronto and twice to Utah. We're not supposed to beat anyone at this point. Yes. Granted, I understand what you're saying. What I meant was kind of the expectation coming into this year. I know the expectations have shifted a little bit and have changed in terms of what we as a fan base expect. But like this team is supposed to go out and play this way against teams like this. Like if you look at the way this roster is constructed, and then you stack it up against a roster that the roster that New Orleans rolled out tonight versus the roster that we rolled out tonight. Like this is the type of game where you are supposed to go out and beat this team by double digits. That's just how this is supposed to go. And we did. But again, you would have liked to see a little bit more of a cohesive effort in that second half, and that's just not what we got. Let's see. Yeah, Derek says Paolo could have put up 50 in this game. He absolutely had it going. I thought we were going for another 50-piece Paolo game. I think that he kind of took a step back with aggression in the second half where, like, it just didn't seem like anyone could stop him. And he just kind of, I don't know, like, it just kind of took a step back. I think he had 24 points in the first half tonight, if I'm not mistaken, and he finished the game with 34, so he only dropped 10 in the second half. Like, I feel like he could have had a lot more than that, and 6 of those were on fast breaks. Let's see. Matthew says, in case people think it might be a blowout win on the road with big individual performances will never be meaningless. I completely agree. I think that at this point, we would like to say that we are beyond moral victories as a team and as a fan base. But at this point, with everything that's happened this year, all the disappointments and everything that's kind of fallen apart this year in the ways that they've fallen apart, I think that you're going to take everything that you can get, and you're going to be happy about what you can be happy with. So David says, let's do the same to the Wolves and the Cavs, guys. David, you keep that optimism, man. Like, you please keep that optimism. I love it. I'm actually going to be on the PGL on the Sunday afternoon game against the Cavaliers, and I'm at least just hoping for a close game. That's all I'm hoping for. Like, not even, I just don't want us to lose by 40. Like, the last time that we had the Cavs game, it was so bad, and I just don't want a repeat of that. If this team can just at least keep it close, I'd be happy. So, yeah. Let's see. Couple of comments. I hate those orange jerseys. Yeah. See, that's fair. Different people feel different ways, and that's okay. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and get over to the... Chris says, "Gee, Sam, did you draw the short straw in my sympathies?" No, that's just how it panned out. I had a lot of games this year that turned out great. I had the great comeback win against the Nets that one night earlier this season, so it's okay. We can't get all the fun ones. That's okay. It happens. Let's go ahead and go on over here. We're going to look at the box score. Outside of Franz and Paolo, there's really not much to look at here. Franz and Paolo were absolutely fantastic tonight. Franz, 11 of 17 from the field. 1 of 2 from 3, hits all of his free throws, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, only 2 turnovers, 27 points, and a plus 12. Great game from him. But then you look at Paolo. This is just incredible. Like 14 of 22, 34 points. So 63% from the field, 50% from 3, hits both of his free throws, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, a block, only 1 turnover, and a plus 32 from the field. Like, I would say that this is individually a top 3 to 5 Paolo game of the year. He played great tonight. I loved what I saw out of him tonight. I don't have a lot to say about our guards, or not about our guards, but about our center rotation, because they didn't look great tonight. And I don't have a lot to say, and I'm trying to keep it positive tonight. But KCP was a plus 28, 12 points, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 of 10 from the field. Like, this is all we need from KCP. He was playing solid defense tonight, 50% from the field, knocking down a couple of 3-pointers. playing solid defense, and then a positive player, a positive impact player from the floor, a plus 28 on the game tonight. That's the type of game we need. But then the big news is we got 30 minutes of Corey Joseph tonight, and he hit 4 shots, 4 of 9. He was 2 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He only had 6 free throws all season coming into tonight, and he knocked down both of them tonight. 6 rebounds, 2 of them were offensive. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers. He had 12 points, and he was a plus 20 from the floor. Great game from Corey Joseph. Love what we saw tonight. I don't know how extensive the Cole Anthony injury is going to be, and if he's going to be out for any longer than a couple of games. I will say that the opposite side to Corey Joseph starting tonight, and I saw this big sentiment on Twitter before the game started, was it's really tough that Jalen goes down, and then instead of Anthony Black being the starter, Cole Anthony's the starter, and then Cole Anthony goes down, and then instead of going to Anthony Black, we go to Corey Joseph. I think that that's a really, really tough thing to see because it really shows the lack of confidence in Anthony Black, not individually as an individual player, but as a facilitator of the offense and as a ball handler. It really shows how the team feels about Cole or about Anthony Black and kind of where he's been. And I can't say I disagree. He's had a lot of ups and a lot of downs this year. You're going to take what you can get. But great first half. You look at the second quarter is really where you pulled away. You outscored them 36-15. They outscore you the last 2 quarters, but you do enough to keep the 20-point lead. 46 points in the paint is great. New Orleans led by 2. I think that was in the first quarter. Our biggest lead was in the third quarter, of 36. Bench really did not do well tonight. Right, score 113 points, only 20 off the bench. Pelicans at 39 off the bench. Only 8 turnovers. And then 21 points off of New Orleans' 13 turnovers. Like 8 turnovers for this team when you only have like 2 real point guards running any form of minutes. I think you're going to take that 10 times out of 10. I loved what we saw in terms of that. I think that there wasn't a ton of struggles offensively. And really, if I'm being honest, like, I think 5 of those turnovers, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm exaggerating here, but I think 5 of those turnovers happened in like a 3-minute stretch of the second quarter when like it felt like we were falling apart, but then we ended up pulling everything back together and we were fine. But anyways, or maybe it was the end of the first quarter. That's right, because Paolo played his first like 7 or 8 minutes, and then the last 4 minutes of the first quarter, it was Franz on the court with the bench unit, and then a lot of those turnovers happened. A lot of those struggles offensively came during that time. So, let's see. Derek says Jet Howard and Goga seem to have regressed. Completely agree. Jet Howard just looked rough, and then Goga still continues to have this just weird thing where, if he's not in the starting unit, he's not a serviceable basketball player. If he's a starting center, he's great and he plays hard. He blocks. He plays physical. He's a great, pick and roll player who rolls to the basket and these alley-oops and these finishes and these offensive rebounds and whatnot. But like when he comes off the bench, he just doesn't know what to do with himself. And I get that players in the NBA, something that we don't think about enough is how much they are expected to just kind of be like they show up and they don't know what the expectations for them are going to be on a game-to-game night. And just like in our lives, we have routine that helps us to perform well. These basketball players also need routine. Just because they're, multi-million-dollar players doesn't mean that they can just like show up and have everything about their routines changed. And maybe just Goga just has a better routine and a more functional and serviceable routine when he's starting as opposed to when he's off the bench. I don't know the psychology behind that. I'm not a sports psychiatrist. I don't know. Another comment from Jay about Paolo balling with the 3. Absolutely. Let's see. That's pretty much it in terms of comments talking about tonight's game. A couple other comments about wanting to do things in the off season. I completely agree, but I feel like we've beat that with a dead horse. We've beat that with a dead horse. We've beat that to death. I'm confusing all of my sayings tonight, but let's go ahead and look over here at the schedules for tonight. The scores going on this evening. Looks like everything is a final with the exception of the Warriors-Kings game. I don't know if Steph has already hit 2 threes tonight, but if he did, that is 4,000 career regular season three-pointers for Steph Curry, and he's on his way to 5,000 total if you factor in playoff games. Pretty big upset here. One of the worst teams in the league, the Wizards at 14-51, beating the Pistons 129-125. Cade Cunningham has another great game, but it's not enough to beat the Wizards. Luka drops a 45-11-3 game. Lakers are dealing with quite a few injuries. Bucks beat them by 20 in Milwaukee tonight. Your Orlando Magic take care of the Pelicans 113-93, as we know. And then the Bulls beat the Nets 116-110 behind yet another should-be Orlando Magic player, Kobe White. We're going to go ahead and come over here and look at the standings. Let's refresh this to make sure that this is all accurate. If you go to nba.com/standings, by the way, the default picture up top is the playoff picture because the play-in tournament officially starts 1 month from Saturday, which is crazy. But this is what the playoff picture is looking like right now. As of right now, your Orlando Magic would be going to Atlanta for a play-in game. Then if you lose that, you would end up having to play the winner of the Heat and the Bulls. Right now, your Orlando Magic are 25 games out of first place. That's not looking great, but you are a game and a half back of the Hawks. And what's starting to grow concerning is with only 15 games left in this season, this gap is starting to look relatively insurmountable. Like with 15 games left in the season, you are 7 games away from the Bucks. You're 6.5 games out of Indiana with the 5th seed, and then you are 6 games back of Detroit. Right now, you're not necessarily playing for the 5th or 6th seed, barring a huge collapse from Indiana or Detroit. You are just playing to try to get home court advantage for that 7-8 game in the play-in, and then you're trying to play out of that. And then congratulations if you play your way out of the play-in. Your reward for playing out of the play-in and making it out is a 7-game series against a historically good Cleveland Cavaliers team or a defending champion Boston Celtics team. There is absolutely no... saw a comment, sorry. There's absolutely no good road out of here, right? We just have to cheer for an Indiana or a Milwaukee or a Pistons collapse over the next couple of weeks, hope for the best. And then in addition to that, it's not just about that. It's about the fact that the Magic need to figure things out, need to figure out a way to turn things around because as of right now, things aren't looking good. But tonight was good. Great win tonight. Amani with a comment right here. It says we need a shooting guard, combo guard, and a natural big man center. Could not agree more. That needs to be addressed in the offseason. And we got a shooting guard, right? In KCP has not panned out well. Like he had a decent game tonight, but he just really has not looked good this year. And it definitely feels like this season that everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Injuries to essentially your 4 best players. Your only big signing of the offseason in terms of not bringing back just your team that you had last year for consistency's sake doesn't really pan out. He hasn't looked great. He's looked like he's regressed pretty mightily since playing for Denver and LA. Jalen Suggs is out for the rest of the year. Up to this point, your best 3 players have only played 6 games together because Jalen had the game where he came back and then he got hurt and then now he's out for the rest of the year after the surgery. We're going to finish tonight off with a comment from Jalen Lawson saying, beat that with a dead horse will be an official 6th-man show saying, yeah, that's a fun one. Sorry about that. Tripping over my words a little bit. It's been a long week, but I want to let you guys know, if those of you guys who are still here, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight for the show. Appreciate you guys for sticking around. Tomorrow night, you should show up to the Stadium Club at the Caribe Royale in Orlando, Florida. If you are in the area, if you can make the drive, me and my wife are driving up tomorrow afternoon. We're extremely excited to be there. We are going to have a watch party against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tip-off is at 8 o'clock. It's going to be a ton of fun. A bunch of the guys are going to be there. Luis Rosario, for those of you guys who haven't met him before, he's going to be there. I know that I can't speak exactly. I can't remember the exact list, but a bunch of the guys are planning on making it out. Those of us who are in town are planning on making it there, and you have a couple of the guys actually driving in from out of town to be there. It is going to be a great time. If you see us, come say hi, grab some food, grab some drinks, come check it out with us. We're going to have a great time watching the game. And we're going to cheer on, hoping that Paolo drops 45 and makes Anthony Edwards look absolutely ridiculous. I think he's going to get 4 blocks on Anthony Edwards at the rim tomorrow night. I think that Cole Anthony is going to be healthy and that Cole Anthony is going to absolutely posterize someone on Minnesota tomorrow night. That's my prediction. So I got a lot of people in the comments saying Amani sounds like they're going to be there. Derek is saying that they're also going to be there. We got people in the chat coming and checking it out. We appreciate you guys. You guys are why we do these watch parties. You guys are why we do these events, because it's all about community. It's all about bringing people together who are Orlando Magic fans, and we absolutely love having you guys there. Thank you guys for making the effort to show up, and hopefully spread the news, put it out on your socials. I know J.O. and Kevin are going to be posting a couple things on Twitter and Instagram. Share it with people who you think might enjoy showing up and being there. We're really going to enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be the highlight of my week, highlight of my month. So hope to see you guys there. Excited about that. Tonight, your Orlando Magic take care of the New Orleans Pelicans, 113-93. Great performances from Franz and Paolo. Hoping for repeats tomorrow night. Stadium Club at the Caribe Royale. We'll see you guys there tomorrow night against the Timberwolves. Let's keep this season rolling. Let's hope for the best. You guys have a great night. And until next time, let's go Magic.